Hello everyone, welcome to the Buzzeasy Webinar. Thank you for joining. Before we get started, let us introduce ourselves. My name is Peter Hobor. I'm the CTO of Geomant and Buzzeasy.
And my name is Jimmy Lee. I'm the product owner of Buzzeasy.
Alright, so let's get started. Actually, before we get started, let me encourage everyone to ask questions on the chat window. We will get back to those at the end of the presentation and demonstration. Let's quickly start with an introduction. Geomant was founded in 2000, so we are over 18 years old by now, and we have a heritage of Avaya and Microsoft professional services and system integrator background. We are a DEF Connect partner of Avaya and a proud technology adaptation partner and a gold communication partner of Microsoft. So as I said, we were a system integrator in these areas, but we started to do software development, and that's where our product development practice grown. And by now we have a pretty wide portfolio of our products. One being Buzzeasy, that we have a separate brand. So don't be confused by both Geomant and Buzzeasy logos and brands. These all belong to us. We are all around the world, and we have offices and customers around the world. So let's not spend too much time on that. Let's rather go into the point, and let's talk about why we believe our solution is good for enterprises and what was the reason behind we put together this solution. So based on some studies, and that's a quote from Forbes, customer experience is the new battleground in the B2C marketplace and area, and we also believe that. And this is supported and backed by some surveys by the big companies around, saying that basically it's really important to have immediate response, and it's really important not to have issues as part of the purchase journey, and not to have issues during the customer service, because customers will simply leave us, because customers are no longer ready to wait. Customers are really served by many companies, so it's a how we call it's an on-demand economy, so whatever they need they can get. It's also important to mention that the way of communication is changing. So 96% of the youngsters in the UK, for example, based on this survey, have a smartphone already. So then if we believe that that's something we can help our partners and our customers and enterprises, then what is where we can help? And again, let's try to understand how our customers, so how the market sees that, and this is an IDC research we are using here to help us, and this says that 91% of enterprises are saying that embedding communications into the processes and applications is either important or extremely important, and 72% saying is that this can help them for higher quality customer experience. So that's where these are connected. So basically, if we believe that we need to help on the customer experience, our partners and customers, and the solution is to embed the communication processes to processes and applications, then let's think about how we can help here. But well, the solution is here on the second slide, but basically it's not that easy, because when we are saying that we want to embed communication into business processes, we need to first define what is communication today. And it's not that it was 10 years ago or even years ago, because before it was really just a customer care, and the customer just walked in or picked up the phone and called the customer service. Of course, there were support departments, social media management, and marketing all around, but nowadays it is required to manage these as one single view of the company towards the customers. If we look at the other side, also you see there's no phone. So actually, phone there is just holding mobile applications, and there are smartwatches, virtual assistants, self-driving cars, autonomous cars, IoT devices all around. And the reason are here because these are part of the customer interaction and customer communication. So it's no longer just that the customer is the one who the enterprise needs to talk to, but we need to get communication, and we need to get a constant synchronization with these devices as well as part of the communication itself. So that's why we believe it's really important to look at from this perspective. So if we want to summarize, and again, let's use a quote here again from IDC. The communication shall be a channel agnostic communication. That's a future-proofing one. And there, the customers really want free-flowing from one application to the other. All of this communication. And well, there is on the bottom a very important statement. We don't really know what will be the next channel, what will be the next communication. So when we are talking about embedding and orchestrating this communication, this is something we need to consider, that there may be new things coming, so we need to be ready to adapt all those new channels and those changes as well. So if we look and refer back to the to those different channels and systems that are around to manage this communication between the enterprises and the customers, let's just quickly have a look what those are. For example, there may be CRMs already, there may be a contact center already, PBX or Unified Communication Solution, or to name a specific one, being a Microsoft partner, Teams is really growing, Teams adaptation around the world, but Slack is on the diagram as well. So there are solutions already that are helping the enterprises to manage the communication or the interaction with the customers. On the other hand, the way we are reaching our customers, we also have some solutions like customer experience management solutions are all around. So there are solutions for that: digital marketing, social media management, mobile applications, and IoT management. We do have such solutions, but in most of the cases, these are island solutions, not integrated at all, and there is a, well, that's why it's a question mark there, how we can make sure that the way we are communicating towards our customers, and again, it's not just the persons, but their devices, their IoTs, their autonomous cars and all that kind of stuff in the various channels, as you see on this diagram, and how can we make sure that the integration, because that was the solution, to integrate these into the enterprise applications and processes is seamless, because there may be some point-to-point solutions already, and that may be there, but if we try to have something that can help all these areas, it's not that easy. Because, well, one option should be to say that, hey, here is a solution that can solve everything and replace everything. Well, we don't believe in that. So we rather believe that there shall be an orchestration layer in the middle, and that's where we are positioning Buzzeasy, that can help to connect these existing solutions and maybe the news to be implemented, and make sure that we can orchestrate the communication flow, and we have some sort of glue in the middle that can help to embed the communication into the business processes and applications that may be there already at the enterprise. And when we are talking about this orchestration, there are specific application and use cases that are part of this orchestration. So it's not that there is a generic orchestration layer that can connect everything, but what we are saying is that there can be specific use cases when this orchestration approach can be used and can connect all the communication channels from the customers and all those applications where we would like to embed these communications. One example here is bots that we are about to talk about in details in our demo, messaging and callbacks and routing and survey and campaign management. So these are all already part of Buzzeasy that we are about to demonstrate, and these are examples of use cases when this orchestration can happen. But of course, this can be extended with additional hives here on this diagram, but basically the whole concept that I wanted you to show and to set the scene for the demonstration that my colleague Jimmy Lee is about to have. So please.
Thank you, Peter. What I'm going to do now is go through a full demonstration of how we can use Callback and Campaign to be able to transform your contact strategy. At this point here, what you see on the screen is the login screen of our online portal. So the first thing I would do is now log in. So I am now on the login screen where you can see there is a aggregate dashboard where you can see your essential KPIs. What I will do now is navigate on the left hand side to SMS campaigns themselves. For this particular use case scenario, what we're going to do is debt collection. And we have a campaign here that's been set up, so I will go through and edit this campaign. There is the option to name this campaign, set what number this particular campaign should come from. But let's go through the important tabs to get this kicked up and running. What you see now is the message content. So the wording of this is going to be sent over to customers or records. The SMS content itself can be personalized, so you can see here that the first name is put in a placeholder field, and we are simply saying that if they were to reply with the keyword call, we can help resolve their issue. Which brings us onto the keywords, and the keywords is the important call to action. We have the keyword call already set up. We have the action that's currently set up on it already, and that is callback. There are further options in terms of having it as a result and pushing that data over to a third-party source, or moving on to a next campaign to extend the conversation. So what I'll do now is just going to submit that and save that campaign successfully. And then the next question is actually, how do we get data into this particular campaign? How do we import the records? You can now do this directly through the Buzzeasy portal. And we have a campaign importer section here where you can download a template, which will give you the structure of what we expect to see. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to browse over to a CSV file that I've already created, which already includes my my telephone number. So I will be acting as the customer, and I will essentially submit that and successfully upload. As soon as you upload a file, what you will then see is a real-time view of that CSV file itself being set up. So in a short moment time, we will see that there will be a new record that appears. And that new record is going to be processed, and we will then see the text messages go out. It's also worth bearing in mind at this point that we are currently showing the call to action of a callback itself, but also this is also available as a steer to a live chat at the same time. So rather than escalating to voice in terms of a callback, what we can actually do also is escalate over to an SMS chat, and we will show the chat interface for the agent a little bit later in this webinar. You can see that that is now completed, so I will show my mobile phone screen. And the SMS has now arrived on my mobile phone, and you can see that it's been personalized to myself. Hi Jimmy. And you can see that we have seen that you've missed a scheduled payment a few days ago. Simply reply with the word call and we can help you resolve this. Now me as a customer has now realized that I've actually missed this payment, and what I want to do is actually contact an advisor. So what I will do now is actually respond back with call, and on the left hand side here is me acting as an agent. So I have an advisor software on the left hand side which will start ringing as soon as we've had this call to action come through. The phone starts ringing, and I'm now in the contact center waiting for an agent. As soon as the agent becomes available, that's the point where they will accept that callback. Once that callback's been accepted, that's the point where the agent will start calling the customer, and Buzzeasy will do this seamlessly. So you can see on the right hand side, as the customer, I can now answer that callback. Once that's been answered, we are now in full conversation to be able to resolve that issue for this particular instance or this particular case. Both are now in conversation, and we're at the point where we've been able to seamlessly escalate over to a live agent using voice from a digital channel. So in this case, what I'm going to do is, as the agent, I would just put the phone down to be able to resolve this issue. And that concludes how we can be able to send an outbound campaign via text message, give them a seamless call to action to be able to have almost an instantaneous callback from an agent to be able to resolve that issue for them. At this moment here, what I'd like to also go through is the different ways that are available to be able to schedule a callback. So the purpose of this demonstration was to show the outbound and the proactive capabilities of what the Buzzeasy platform can provide, but we also have the inbound capabilities as well. So an example of this is that the same service queues that has been set up for debt collection, we may want to have a web widget that's available on the website or through any of the social channels as well. And the one prime example of this is the ability to have a web widget that can be injected onto any website, which can show a very simple form where you can have the name and phone number, and you can schedule a callback this way as well. And that is key to being able to provide on different many channels. And that concludes the demonstration on the callback and campaign capabilities of Buzzeasy. So I'll pass you back over to Peter now, and we can reconvene on the chat and the orchestration element of the Buzzeasy platform.
Thank you, Jimmy. So before we get into the demo itself, let's talk about the way we believe bots should be orchestrated. And used orchestrated as a word because we believe in an orchestration flow that is responsible to make sure that we are always handling the bot conversation in a very specific domain of the conversation. And let me explain what we mean by that. Well, as you see on this diagram, basically we have 4 different bots as an example here, and these being responsible for a very definite domain of conversation. And we do believe that there should be an orchestration flow that can handle the customer experience and make sure that the customer has a seamless experience between these bots. But still, when we have the dialogue with the customer, we always know on which dialogue we are in, so that we can manage that properly, because we are not yet there in terms of AI and conversation in AI, that we can have a well-defined, very generic bot experience for everything that is around on the company. But we rather believe that good bots can be defined and created for a very specific domain of conversation, and we need to realize if we need to escape from that conversation, and on this diagram that's what we call escape intent, and then go back to the beginning, or not to the beginning, but go back to this as we call companion or virtual assistant part, where we can identify what the customer wanted and take the conversation to that given domain. And as you see, agent is on the right hand side. So if there is no solution within the bot experience, we believe in the human touch. So the conversation at that point should be escalated to an agent. So let's just quickly have an example of flow that demonstrates this experience. So this so as you see on this example, the customer says hello, and the companion bot knows that we need to go to the Q&A. So at this part of the conversation, there are questions asked and answered by the bot, and at some point the answer may include a link that says that, hey, I no longer want to be in the Q&A, but I want to go to a different part of the bot flow. So for example, collect some data. It's no longer a Q&A. To collect customer specific data is how we call this a data collector bot that is part of our Buzzeasy solution. And once we collect the data, then we can use that data to reach out on an API call and to the CRM. And as part of the orchestration flow decision, we can go to a very specific product information bot. So on that product information, in most of the cases, we are talking about the bespoke bot itself, but there can be a specific conversation about pricing, about the product, as you can see. And we need to realize when we need to go to a different layer. So in this example, when the customer said, I'm interested, the orchestration flow defines so that we are going to an agent. And then there is a end customer agent conversation happening as part of the Buzzeasy orchestration flow. No bots involved at the moment if not needed. But if we want to, we can pass back the conversation after the agent part to another bot. For example, on this example, there is a callback needed. So why to use a human agent for that when we can have a really good bot experience to schedule a callback? Because that's a very well defined conversation domain. So we can have a really good bot to collect all information that is needed for to manage the callback. And also, if we want to, at the end of the conversation, we can go to the MPS core data collection part, and we can conclude the conversation by that. So sorry being a rush here, but I didn't want to spend too much time because this is something Jimmy will show you in the real system itself. But I wanted to make sure that we are talking about the concept itself, and you get why we have that solution that Jimmy will show you. So over to you, Jimmy.
Thank you again, Peter. What we're going to go through now is go back to the Buzzeasy portal, and we'll show how the orchestration within the workflow is set up. We will then go through actually in action. So first things first, I will navigate to the workflow section, and this particular demonstration, I'm going to go through a government waste workflow. A prime example of this is local authorities and local councils within the UK. They have a contact centre, and the common queries that come through the contact centre are to do with bin collections or bulky waste or council tax. Within our orchestration workflow, you have fully customizable messages that you can state here. So this shows that without the need of having development resource or custom bespoke code, here we are with message text and phrases that are available out of the box within the portal itself. So you can see that the first entity here is going to be welcome. I'm your virtual assistant, and basically when that message has been sent, we are going to steer this customer over to the main menu dialog. Moving further down a little bit, there is a main menu dialog that has a question template associated to it, which will be at the moment a single question with suggested actions to understand what the context of that particular customer requirement is. Based on that response, we can then steer to the correct dialog, whether that is FAQ, whether that's to go to live assistance, or whether that's to do with bin collection. And what I'll go through now is actually we've got all these different dialogues in terms of helping that customer out and providing that self-service, but it's also important to emphasize that we also have an agent section as well. So within this agent section, what we are saying is that during the self-service, during any time where the customer would like to speak to an agent rather than talking to a chatbot or a virtual assistant, they can do so. So we provide integration to third-party chat applications, and we have our own chat application as well within Buzzeasy, which I will show you very, very shortly. But we provide that escalation to a live agent, providing full context to the agent as well to be able to resolve the issue because self-service wasn't able to do so. And that's really important to be able to provide great customer engagement and experience. The last but not least, within the workflow itself, is that even when the agent has been escalated to and the conversation has been completed, we have the ability within the workflow to orchestrate back to a self-service assistant. And a great use case for that is for customer survey. So you can provide a single MPS question to give them a rating between 1 to 5. And if it was a great rating, that data can then just be pushed to a data warehouse. Or if it's a bad rating, we can then go even further and offer them either a voice callback, which you saw earlier in the webinar, or to go back to a retention chat agent. So let's actually see this in action now, and we will move on from there. So from a workflow, a chat service can then be associated to it, and within chat services, this is how we enable the channels. We have the options of web chat, Facebook, Messenger, Twitter, WhatsApp, SMS, and as we saw earlier, we have the outbound SMS campaign that can be escalated to SMS chat as well. The simplicity is that we provide a snippet that you can just copy and paste and inject into the website to be able to have this widget ready to go. We've got a test button here and full customization of the different colors, etc. that can be placed. So what I'll do now is actually navigate over to my my test website here. Say hello to the widget. And from here, you can see that the exact same phrases that were set within the workflow routine and the orchestration platform, it is specified here. And for me, I can just simply click on the fact that I want to ask a question. So I'm going to ask a question about waste and recycling. So what bin services? So instantaneous answers are provided within our FAQ and knowledge base dialogue. And at this point here, I can ask further questions. And I can do that to talk to mention about recycling bins, for example. And you can see here that it mentions about the yellow lid bin. But actually, I want to know what dates this particular bin collection is actually on. You can see in the dialogue itself and the responses that we do have a bin collection service. So I'm just going to say thanks here and provide the gratitude, where we can tell of and then analyze that gratitude and ask if there's anything else we can help with. I would like to say yes as a customer, because I want to know more about the bin collection side of things. So now I'm actually going to click on bin collection. Now the workflow has been aware that bin collection is the next step, and now it's going to go over to the postcode lookup instead. So in order to provide the service that it needs to understand the location of the customer. So we're now putting in details of the location. So I'm going to go to the Geomant head office, but based on the information that's been collected, we've gone over to a third-party API and returned back with the data. So you can see that there are plenty of media cards here that talk about the different types of bins and the dates that they're actually going to be collected. And then the final question is, because we've gone down this collection service, we're simply asking whether we want to report a miscollection. I'm going to say yes here. There's two different ways to be able to do this, and we offer both scenarios where we can report it online by a simple form, or if you want to provide a more personalized service, we can actually go over to Live Assistance. So I'm going to click on Live Assistance. On the left-hand side, I've just shown up the Buzzeasy agent interface. So you can see here that I'm logged in as myself, and I'm currently on break. The workflow is now collecting a bit more information about myself. And at this point here, what we're going to do is we're going to transfer over to team members. Now I'm currently on break, so I'm going to take myself out of break mode and set myself to be available to take chats. As soon as the chat comes in, I'm getting full context, and you can see the avatar change on the right-hand side. So hello there, agent, is shown. And all of a sudden, full conversation history regarding the chat that's happened is also shown within the chat window itself. And two-way conversation between agent and customer has now been established. I'm now just going to quickly end this agent chat, as the agent has been able to deal with this particular query and set to move on to the next task. But you can see, however, on the right-hand side is that we continue the conversation with the customer to ask if there's anything else to help with. So I'm just going to say no now, because I'd like to just end the conversation. And within our workflows section, we're saying that to finalize off the conversation, we'd just like to have a quick satisfaction survey, a single NPS score. So I'm just going to say 5 for excellent service, and that completes my conversation and provides a quick thank you for using the service. And that customer has now been resolved by an element of self-service, but also with the help of escalation to a live agent as well. This concludes the demonstration of chat and how it could work, but it's also worth reminding that I've just demonstrated this via web chat, but the same experience would also be available within Facebook Messenger and Twitter, WhatsApp, and slightly more limited in SMS due to no availability of the rich cards, but all the text would be available.